It's so good already. It's so good. People are gonna be like, "What? Are you starting the show like this?" Yeah, 100%.
It's just so good.
Nobody even knows what happened, and it was like Roxy and I were getting ready to go in the air, and Mike just pops on with a black box and says, "StreamYard, you can't get it working."
I don't even have a camera anymore. Can you guys hear me? Kristian said, "We can hear you. We just can't see you." He said, I don't even know. I gotta go.
So we'll see if we see Mike. Anyway, I don't know who's yelling more. Is it him or Kathleen Kennedy? I don't know. Just kidding. But Kathleen Kennedy is out of Lucasfilm end of this year, 2025. Says she's stepping down. Says she's retiring. Is that the case? Interesting. If it was a matter of stepping down, or was it a mutual conversation? We'll dive deep and see if we can figure that out. Some other things going on in the world of movie news, of course. You've got some more things happening. You got details on the Punisher special. You got Rachel Zegler was talking about the fans that are all pissed off are basically just doing it because they're passionate about the project. Is that accurate, or is there a little bit of a spin, or is there damage control, or all the above? So myself and Roxy will definitely be here, at least for a little bit. And whether Mike will be here or not, who knows? But it is Kristian Harloff Show here on Tuesday, February 25th, year of our Lord. All right, here we go. Ready? Perfect. Welcome back, one and all, to the Kristian Harloff Show. I am joined today at least by one of my co-hosts, and that is Roxy Stryer. Hello, Roxy. How are you? Are you doing good?
I'm doing better than Mikey's doing, I guess.
He's not doing great. He said, "F and start without me. I'll join in."
Did he text you that?
Yeah, he did, both of us. But the other thing I was going to tell you, I talked about it yesterday. I finished Cobra Kai.
Was it amazing?
Yeah, it's great.
It's amazing.
It's great. I wrote a message to all three of the guys afterwards and just congratulated them on their show and everything that they did. It's great. It was a really great ending on how the tone knew what it was, and the story knew what it was, and it ended exactly how it should have ended, I think. So, and it was a nice. The show's a feel good show in general. So I'm glad that they ended it the way that they did.
It's like a little over the top, gives you everything
you want.
A
little over the top.
Well, it's just amazing that they got Johnny back. Well, I don't want to spoil it.
I'm not gonna say anything. Yeah. But
the one thing that I will spoil for people is obviously they know that Hilary Swank wasn't in it.
Boo! Not booing you. I'm booing her.
Oh, I was gonna say, you think that's too big of a spoiler?
No, I'm booing her. She's not in it.
Did you see all the what they said about it?
No.
Your boys. So at first, I think a lot of outlets were reporting probably a finances thing, we couldn't afford it or whatever. But then the guys came out and said, we reached out 5 times and we never got to her directly. Her reps wouldn't let us, and they just seemed like no interest.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised by that. What's she doing?
She's still, look, it's Oscar-winning actress, 2-time Oscar-winning actress. So they probably, like Cobra Kai, can't show up on Cobra Kai. Can't go back to revisiting that role. That's what I would assume.
Why?
I agree. She should have shut up.
People do that all the time. Huge stars do that. So it's
and she's been asked about it also, many times. So,
yeah, I really thought this was going to be the time. It just feels like. I feel like some fans of Cobra Kai are younglings, and I don't know that they even know who Hilary Swank is.
Well, she's going to be in Yellow Jackets season 3, is what someone just said. So
yeah, that's cool. I watched a movie with Sophie Thatcher that hasn't dropped yet for Rejects, but one of the stars of Yellow Jackets. Mm-hmm. That entire cast is so good. I mean, the young cast and the old cast. So Hilary Swank being on that is awesome. Probably taking the place of what's her name?
Juliette Lewis.
Yeah. Not the place she's playing her character, but just
Brigante, Carla Brigante. Anyway, so this is our show here today, Rox. We had a major story break today. Major. One of the biggest
It was
stories.
last night, and I saw it, and I literally looked at my phone and thought, "Thank God, Kristian's going to be in a great mood tomorrow."
Well, I don't think that's necessarily fair, but not inaccurate. Let's talk about it. And that is the fact that Kathleen Kennedy is indeed leaving Lucasfilm. She plans to retire, is what the report is saying. She's going to retire at the end of this year. So lots of different outlets, but Dark Horizons is the one that we're going to be reading today. Lucasfilm chief Kathleen Kennedy has reportedly told associates that she plans to retire by the end of the year, reports Puck News. Kathleen Kennedy joined Lucasfilm in 2012 as the co-chair alongside George Lucas. A few months later, she took the reins after Disney forked out $4 billion for the company and Lucas exited to enjoy his retirement. Kennedy then relaunched the franchise, starting with J.J. Abrams' commercially successful Star Wars The Force Awakens, followed by everything that came after, including several more films and multiple TV shows. That put her under intense scrutiny, not just from the industry, but also from the public at large, and especially passionate Star Wars fans, with some corners of the fandom likely to cheer this news. Multiple projects underwent production teething problems, but be it at sidelining filmmaker Gareth Edwards on Rogue One to the firing of Chris Lord and Phil Miller from Solo's Star Wars story mid-production. Several projects planned never came to fruition, and others were stuck in development. Hell, what was made has been a mixed back with some acclaimed efforts and commercial successes, but also projects that have been divisive, whether it's The Last Jedi, contentious, The Acolyte, tedious, The Book of Boba Fett, and atrocious, Rise of Skywalker. Whoa, tell us how you really feel. If she retires from filmmaking altogether, Kennedy would have been a long legacy of films producing or executive producing over 70 films since the early 1980s, including 8 Oscar nominees. Amongst those are the Back to the Future and Jurassic Park and Gremlins franchise, along with Who Framed Roger Rabbit, The Goonies, Congo, Poltergeist, Twister, Sixth Sense, and many of Steven Spielberg's films. Lucasfilm has the second season of Andor launching in April, along with Star Wars Celebration event in Tokyo that will be followed by The Mandalorian and Grogu film next year, along with a second season of Ahsoka. Okay, so
You didn't say Mandalorian and Grogu the way you say it.
Oh yeah, I'm not in the mood right now.
What happened?
Mandalorian and Grogu.
Very good.
Perfect. Listen, this is interesting news to say the least. I don't know what I like more, the fact that we got this news or Mike's hair. One of the two are spectacular.
Now, can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes.
What's wrong with my hair now?
Nothing. It looks great.
Jesus. Now
looks
what did I
good.
do wrong?
Nothing. Looks good. I'm giving you a compliment, bud.
What are you calling out his hair for?
I think he looks
Yeah,
good.
you notice it? It ain't a compliment.
It was. What do you mean?
It's higher than usual, so
Yeah.
maybe he's just commenting on it being different.
No, it's good. All right, listen.
Better?
So what I want to tell you is this. I got this news and 1,000 people obviously tagging me on this news. And my brother and I were going to go back and forth on it. Let me ask you a question. Do you guys think that this is, because my brother said, oh, it looks like she went out on her own terms. I think part of that is true. But I also think that because your own terms saying, look, I'm not going to just leave tomorrow. But isn't it a little curious that she's leaving before Mandalorian and Grogu comes out? Wouldn't you figure that she would see that movie off and then take off? So that's the first question. Roxy, do you think this is something where she said, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore? Do you think this was also Iger saying, let's call it a day?
Is it 100% confirmed that she's going before Mandalorian and Grogu?
It looks like that from what they're saying at the end of 2025. If that they haven't disputed that claim, and Hollywood Reporter and other people have picked up on it.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem to be 100% yet. So I do think that would be weird. Yeah. Is what you're getting at? Was she pushed out or did she leave? Is that what your question is? Encouraged to maybe call it a career. Clearly, you have a theory on it, Kristian. So
I think that's exactly what happened.
You think what's exactly happened?
I think that there is only so much you can keep losing directors and writers, and someone pays you, a significant amount of money for a franchise, and you're losing directors all the time. You're losing production. The fan base is not on board with your stuff anymore. There's only so long it can last. However, I think he's got a really good relationship with her. They said, all right, how do we figure this out? That maybe this is, and I also think she probably said, it's not, I don't want to do this anymore. He's like, okay, then why don't we
mutual?
I think it was a mutual plan to figure out how for her to leave. And I think that it's one of these things that they're going to
So yes, you think it was mutual. You think she wanted to go, and you think they.
Well,
wanted
I don't think she put up a fight. Is what I would say. I think she probably agreed that it was. I don't think it was a kicking and screaming thing. And again, I'm making this up. It's very good.
Are you implying that if they were like, "We want you to stay," she would have stayed?
Yes. Yes, I do. Mike, what do you make of all this?
Well, you and I, gosh, I don't remember when this was pre Indiana Jones. You and I both said Indiana Jones, she's going to have a hit and she's going out on a high note.
Right.
That's what we said because we knew her time was coming to an end. My theory on this is this doesn't look good for her because you're only as good as your last hit.
Right.
She's leaving the fan base divided. You know, there's a certain group of the internet that's celebrating today. It's not a good look. You're leaving not on a win. Yes, and to list her credits, she's in part of some incredible credits, but also past 5 years of Star Wars under her thumb has not been good.
That's my point. Hasn't. But you just made the point. That's a great point. Is like
I think she was 100% say, "Hey, it's time to go."
But that is interesting. I think you're 100% right. It's like, why not say, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna step off after Mandalorian and Grogu comes out," and it's like, I'll get the win on that. I'll take off, and then that's it. And even if it doesn't hit, and that's it, I gave it a shot. And now I'm out. But I bet you that was not what Disney wanted to do. They want to find someone now to start running stuff, and then that leads into now what's our plan? Now the new person's in charge for 2026 that they're going to be overseeing. She'll still get producer credit on Mandalorian and Grogu and whatever else comes out, what she developed during her tenure. But this is like, okay, look, we have a movie coming out next year. We have another movies that we want to start pushing out. We need someone in the seat. You're going to hear who her successor is within the year. You'll find out who it is. Now that's the other question, and a question that unfortunately I think people should be concerned with, because the answer is the big question is, who is choosing the successor? Is it Bob Iger or is it Kathleen Kennedy? Because that's a problem. If it's Kathleen Kennedy, it's a problem.
I don't know.
Anytime I try to speculate about why somebody's leaving at a certain time, I feel like guys, this is not me knowing anything. This is not, I'm not trying to spread a rumor or anything, but what ends up coming out is that person was sick. There was a reason they had to leave at that certain time. Like you just never know why. And obviously it is part of our jobs to speculate what happened here and what could have happened. But it is possible that they wanted her to stay on, and due to personal reasons or whatever, she was like, the sooner the better for me. I'll help transition out, but I got to get out of here.
Yeah, but just like Mike said, that to me is, I mean, well, look, I know you're not insinuating it, but the possibility of if someone got sick or something along the line, it's like if that's why.
We've seen it happen a bunch of times.
Of course we have. And if that is indeed the scenario, that eventually will come out.
Yeah.
Right. But if it's not the scenario, and it's, you have got this movie coming out in May of 2026, you would assume they go, can you just stick around till May? Because you put this thing together, stick around till May, and let's just hit this thing out of the park and then walk off into the sunset. But if they don't want you to stay, they ain't going to say that to you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, or they very well, devil's advocate, at what you were saying before, they very well could have said that. But I just don't understand why, to Mike's point, why you would go out on The Acolyte and, all these subpar television shows. I mean, granted, you're going to have Andor season 2, maybe is the last thing that comes out before she leaves, but there's no hit right before. You figured she wants to walk off with $1 billion and say, look what I did. Here's another movie that I just put out there. Instead, what's that?
Is it possible she's going somewhere and they need her sooner?
That's also another scenario. Very possible, right? And it's also interesting that would be the case. But she says she's retiring. And if she's retiring,
yeah, then that wouldn't just mean from there. That would mean for
right. So I don't know, Mike. What you're still thinking about stuff over there, buddy?
Well, Roxy brings up that was a great point. We don't know what it is or could be, but to say to retire, And I would think that if there was some kind of health issue, they would not have done it before the next movie comes out, because they don't need to announce anything. She could have stepped down and not been in her position for a while if there was some kind of, other reasoning behind it. And then they announced a successor after it's already done and the movie came out. Grogu, I don't know. This
I have no skin in the game here.
Right.
This is not it's not even my number 1 or 2 franchise. I like Star Wars, but you guys know way better what kind of job she has done. And obviously not just Star Wars, but that's the bread and butter. So to me, I have no idea. I'm just throwing out possibilities of why a person would leave a company sooner than later.
Yeah, and it's a great point.
Roxy, it's a great point. It's a very That's a very good point.
The one guy said, Roxy having a hard time accepting the news. Going over. And I actually, the news is barely news to me.
She just doesn't care.
When I saw it, I was just like, oh, shit.
Well, but
okay, here's my first reaction. What's your first gut reaction to this news? Because mine this morning was like, oh, there it is. There it is. They finally got sick of Star Wars not working.
It was inevitable.
Yeah. You and I have been talking about this for years.
Using the sports analogy, there's only so long you can have a championship caliber team coming in last place until they say, hey, you're not using this team to win championships. And she wasn't using the team to win championships. And but I think because of the respect they have from her and the things that they did, that she's done in her career and in general, the relationships that she has, they're going to say, hey, what do you want to do? What's the exit plan? Do you want to finish out the year? How do you want to do it? And I think that's ultimately, and you can say you're retiring and we're going to make it look like it's your decision and all that type of stuff. And why wouldn't you do that for her? Because if you have that kind of relationship in general, but it isn't working. And I don't think that it should be anybody else that is there. I think, and that's the other thing. People have thrown out Jon Favreau and Filoni. What are you talking about?
I heard some more that's throwing out Gilroy. I'm like, are you out of your damn mind? You think Gilroy?
Stop.
You want him to run
the thing is, I think that you got to realize that because they're thinking of James Gunn, and because James Gunn is a director, and James Gunn, but you can't just get it from there because James Gunn wasn't hired to do all the CEO stuff. He's hired to do the creative stuff. Peter Safran is hired to do all the business of all. Right, I know you do, but for people like you would have to bring in. You wouldn't bring in.
This is how it works. James Gunn was hired for one reason, but Peter Safran was hired for another. Are you with me?
100%.
You getting it?
Yeah, you got it now, Mike. Yeah, but that's the point is that Favreau doesn't want to run a company and be a corporate, just a corporate guy. He doesn't want to do it. Filoni certainly can't do that. And so, if they're going to take two people and do a 2-team like they do, then you bring in that second person, whoever that second person is. Sure.
Who's your dream team, Kristian?
Unknowns. In the same way that Kevin Feige was an unknown. You didn't know who Kevin Feige was before Kevin Feige became Kevin Feige. He was a producer on his movie.
Who's worked in the system before? Describe your dream type of person as somebody who works currently for Lucasfilm? No,
someone who is within, 35 to 60 years old, we'll say. Right. And I don't know, it can be more than that, but I'm just saying that's the ideal.
Ages.
But I would say someone who is a fan of the actual product itself, who has a passion for it, who understands that it's not just about their decisions, it's about even if you don't understand a deep lore, it's about saying, okay, look, I don't get this. I don't know. And using Tony Gilroy as an example, right? For what he did brilliantly on Andor season 1 was that he said, okay, this is what I need. Mike and I have talked about this many times. There's a store that there's going to be these artifacts and all these things. I don't know anything about this lore. Can I bring in somebody that can put stuff in the background that are great Easter eggs from the time that this existed? And they did just that. And people are like, oh, that's from there. Tony Gilroy doesn't know that, but he trusts in the people that he did. That's what an executive needs to do. An executive needs to say, okay, look, why do you think that the Knights of the Old Republic would work? Why do you think that this character could work? Well, I'll tell you this is it's not, and not the, well, it's too inside baseball and no one will get it. Silly, dumb. That happened so many times in the old regime. Silly and dumb. It needs to get away from that. It needs to be, you got to trust in things that have worked, trust in, get writers' rooms, get other things, and just find somebody who's got a battle plan and make plans in general. If you're going to have a connected universe, right, have a plan and you got to strip Filoni of some of the power that he's got. He's getting in the way. You got to strip him of some of this power.
Ooh, Harloff, that's big words from you, man.
Just telling you.
Why do you say that, Mikey?
Because on Sith Council for however long we did the show, we were always very much like Filoni. That guy knows Star Wars. Get him in there. Get that guy running shit.
Yeah.
And now it's like it's almost too insider baseball. Like,
no, I don't think it's insider baseball for him. I think he holds on.
No, not him. I think the things he's doing, like Ahsoka, that's an insider baseball show. But
I think you can do inside baseball and still make it work. And I still think,
no, they haven't yet.
Well, but
I don't know who they get. You know who they get? I want them to get Roxy, someone that comes in and goes, you know what? I don't want to see a Skywalker anywhere. We are taking Star Wars in areas that we've never seen before. I'm not going to see any kind of Mandalorian armor person showing up. You can have a lightsaber every now and then, but less lightsabers, the better. I'm not having X-Wing pilot Biff McCooley showing up in 15 different shows.
Before they even said another word, I'd want that person fired because
So Star Wars is doing that far, far away.
What
Star Wars is doing what you want to do, and clearly it's not working.
No, that's not. They're just throwing everything against the wall. Is the difference? You can have a plan, and we both agreed on like an anthology television series where you could bring in all different eras if you wanted to do things. You just have to have a plan. You got to have good writing. You can't think they don't pay attention to the damn books and all that other stuff, and the people who are writing some of these stories. They have so many talented people that they never even use, that can write better stories than half the freaking directors and writers that they bring into some of these things. But they got to get away from this legacy idea of the way old Hollywood ran. That's how Kathleen Kennedy ran it. She ran it like the old, who's the hot director? Who's this? Who's the big writer right now? Let's get them in there and let's see what their take is. And it's like, find people who know the product and put together a really good, heartfelt story that people care about and create characters.
That was Mikey's pitch for what he would want them to say. What is it that you would want? So the new person's in charge or new two people, what do you want their initial statement to be about the future of Star Wars?
We have a plan. Is what I want.
I don't care what that plan is.
We have a plan. And here is, and we have a plan in the same way, regardless of what you look at what James Gunn did with his first announcement. This is so-and-so. They're the new head of Lucasfilm. We're excited to say, and that's the other thing. I want someone, if someone who's good on the mic, or good, or who's gonna be able to speak to the fans and not feel like they're talking down to them, or not even really like you care at all. So like you're not when you show up to a D23 or you show up to a Star Wars.
You're talking about the type of person you want it to be. Now I'm asking, what are you wanting from Star Wars?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But that's part of the whole thing. The type of person in general who's going to say, okay, this is what we're going to do now. We have a plan that we're putting together. We have a room full of writers. We know that our first arc within the movies, we're going to do this. James Mangold's movie is the next movie, and it is going to be called Dawn of the Jedi, whatever the hell it's called. And it's going to be called this. And within that time period, we also are going to be planning out more films and television shows. And I'm just using this as an example. And with that, we have movies in that time period. We will have announcements for you at a later date. Stop giving us announcements that are things that are never going to happen.
So you guys don't want a slate. And Mikey, you know what you're trying to avoid. You don't want to stay with the Skywalkers.
Right. Been done to death.
Okay. So what are you hoping that they are doing? Is there a time period you guys are hoping that they are going to?
Ideally, I think it would be great for them to, because I know that she wasn't a massive fan of the Knights of the Republic. I know Filoni's not a massive fan of the Knights of the Republic. I would love to see them tackle that old Republic era, because to Mike's point, you can get away.
People tell me what that is.
It takes, I think it's, and the audience will tell me, but I feel like it's something along the lines of like 5,000 years before Episode 4.
Okay.
And it's the Old Republic, and it's when the Sith and the Jedi are full force. Both of them. They both have armies. They're both. It's like full on war. Things are going on, and there's like it leads into. There's so much you can lead into leading up to episode 4, which is again thousands of years beforehand. But I'd like to see them explore that era, and if they started with Mangold stuff of how the first Sith and Jedi were formed, and it leads up to it. Start from there. Stop jumping back and forth into different time periods, like from all over the map, and just focus on one for now.
Not a trilogy. You want one.
You could do a trilogy if you think that you, but to your point, your question of a trilogy, if you're going to do a trilogy, have a plan and say, and don't even start shooting the trilogy until there is a full like synopsis of where movie 1 starts and where movie 3 ends. Like that's what they didn't do last time. It's like, oh, all right, JJ just did a movie, and what are they going to do? The
who's related to who, and who might be a Skywalker?
Yeah, it's like those types. It's like it was like they like the Death Star. Let's just make Sky Killer Base or whatever the hell it is. Let's make that another Death Star, and we need stormtroopers again, and we need this. And it's like it's everything everybody remembers all the time. And trust in your characters, trust in the lore, trust in like the magic of it, and make it feel special again. It hasn't felt special in a very long time.
I think it's just because everything has to tie to the Skywalkers. Everything has, like, look at people that lost their minds when Luke showed up and Mando, you know.
That's me.
What's up? Yeah,
I'm
but
people
it was. Yeah. I know, I get it, but it's just like, okay, and it's like the Skywalker saga is done to me. It's,
no, I hear you.
Yeah,
I don't think you should make Star Wars for me. That's a bad call.
But I don't.
Why would you make the Star Wars for the casual fans? Like, it doesn't.
I think you should make it for both. I think you should make it
because the casual fans are the ones that bring the money in.
Yes, but you can combine.
Gotta get those fans.
But look at something like Infinity War and Endgame, right? Like those. There's a lot of stuff in there, comic book wise, that eventually the casual fan loves, and there's a lot of things in there that, from the comics. You got people involved, and you got people invested.
And now to validate my point, then MCU after Endgame went through some rough stuff. And now what are they doing? Let's go back to the well. Let's bring RDJ back. Let's bring Chris Evans back. Yeah, we got to get the old gang back. So let's bring Luke Skywalker back.
Let's Chris find Evans a way. Doing?
Oh, there's a rumor that he's supposed to be coming back.
There's rumors he's in Doomsday.
As who?
Cap, but we don't know if he's going to be a variation.
Good, evil Cap.
I don't know yet.
You know, who knows?
Oh, wow.
But it's just like, no, go. The MCU, that's a whole nother, that's even a bigger sandbox to play in than Star Wars is. And it's just like.
Here's another question, though, too. That some of these projects that were going to happen, and this will also be answered after we find out who the successor is, because if it's a successor that she puts in place, then the answer is they'll continue. But if it's not a successor that she chooses, well, some of these projects that she wanted, whether it's the Rey movie, these other movies, are they going to even happen? Like some of these movies that she set the deals to, is the new person going to come in and go, no, you know what? We don't want to do that. We want to do something else.
You bring up a good point, because we are now, I feel, at a point where DC was in 2020, where there are projects going, and then a new guy comes in that says, hey, those things, they're not part of what we're doing anymore. We're going to let those finish. Right. But this is this.
Exactly.
Oh, that one really good thing. We're going to keep that. And that's going to be something. So James Gunn came in, and this is, you know, you go, you know what, Ahsoka, we're done.
Well, so do you guys hope that the Rey movie does move forward or doesn't move forward?
I don't know what the script is yet. I would like to see Daisy Ridley back. I know. I'd like to see Daisy Ridley back. I don't think Chinoy is the one to direct it, and I don't think she will be directing it. I think it was not a great choice. And I think that she won't be directing. I don't think that's going to happen. But I think,
like, theoretically, would you want a Rey movie?
I don't mind that. There's people who, because it's so locked into how divisive the sequel trilogy is, that they don't want anything to do with it. But I'm all about like a shot of redemption to make a really great movie with her. I like Daisy Ridley a lot, and I like the character of Rey. I do. I want to see if she can do something, especially as like an older, wiser Jedi. I think it can work, but I think that you have to develop characters that we care about, and not the same old crap that they've been doing of just like these vanilla characters that you just don't give a shit about. You gotta like you gotta surround her with different things and put a little and make it less. I don't want to say commercial because Star Wars is commercial, but yeah, a little less commercial. I'm gonna say it. I think like I know that somebody in the comment section said that not everything should be Andor, and I don't disagree with you, but it doesn't mean that it can't be layered and it can't be smart. Some of the stuff is just kind of cotton candy. Like Rise of Skywalker is just like empty calories, man. There's nothing to it. And yeah, I just want to see a plan with someone who knows it. Look at what James Gunn is doing with, he brings in like, is it Tom King? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Right. So he brings in Tom King. Yeah.
Tom King. Yeah.
You said James Gunn.
James Gunn brings in Tom King.
Yeah, no, Mike
missed when I said that.
Yeah.
So that to me is the kind of stuff that Lucasfilm doesn't do, right? Like they don't bring in like Claudia Gray or Drew Karpyshyn or any of these guys that are telling great Star Wars stories. They're nowhere to be found on the movies and TV. And it's like, why? What are you doing? And like do that kind of stuff. Like if you're going to adapt something from these things, bring in the authors. You don't have to have them write a screenplay because not every author of a novel can write a screenplay. It's a different art.
So 5 years from now, when you guys are picturing your Star Wars, or Star Wars in general, are you guys hoping eventually to hit where we are with DC and Marvel right now, where we're getting and just say that the quality is as high as it can be, where we're getting 1 movie a year, 2 movies a year, a few shows a year? Like, what is the dream for the Star Wars universe?
Well, Mike's miserable, so I'll let him answer that first.
Like,
you hate my questions. Sorry, Mikey.
No, I didn't. He just want to put that on me. Like, so what is my dream? Like, is that what you're saying? Like, what do I hope?
Like, how much? It's different. Like you said, there's bigger sandbox for Marvel to play in. So what is the dream? What does it look like for Star Wars? How often are they putting out movies and shows?
I mean, I'd say 1 show and 1 movie a year.
I would agree. I think you aim for 1 show and 1 movie a year if you
6
can
months
do it.
apart, and then that's it.
Or depending if you're going to go with what I said to you before of we want to play in this sandbox. If you're going to play in the sandbox of all the different time periods, then you can try to do 1 movie a year and see if you're going to continue on storylines. I think it's a little difficult. I think that they should say, look, we're going to do 1 TV show a year, and that's going to kind of tie into this time period that we're going to play in. James Mangold's going to start us off, and then every 2 years we're going to do a movie. And
it's the same TV show, like season 2, season 3.
I would like to see it. One of 2 things for me. I want to see things tied into one era where you can build out stuff, whether it's leading from way long ago from when James Mangold did it, all the way up to Knights of the Republic, all the way up to like Darth Bane, like time periods. They just give us a lot of time to play with. Or I've said this many times over, I'd love to see an anthology television series. I think it's called Star Wars. I've mentioned this a million times over. You could do something where 3 episodes, look what they're doing with Andor, right? 3 episodes arc is going to take place with Boba Fett. And it's a Boba Fett, mission from Empire Strikes Back, right after Empire Strikes Back, and you're with Boba Fett for an episode or 2 or whatever. And the next episode is back in the Old Republic era. It's called Star Wars. It's simply just called Star Wars. You can blast back and forth and whatever you want to do. You can do that, or you can just play with 1 time period. And I just, like I said, Roxy, you asked me initially, I just want a plan and someone who says, no, I want it to be fun again. You know what I mean? Star Wars hasn't been fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there hasn't been a Star Wars movie since what year?
2019.
So it's hard to have fun when it's been 6 years since you've had a movie, and a lot of people didn't like that movie.
And the shows haven't been great. You started to get people back and on board with Mandalorian season 1, but then you started to lose people, and it's like there's no love for it. And I think that, and you never want to say this, but the fact that someone it's telling, and I don't think that it's fair for what they says. There's a certain kind of people that are going to be excited about this. There are so many people that have turned around. Look, initially, I'm not going to tell you there aren't some people that just wanted her gone because, she's a woman or she's this. Of course, there's those types of people, but down there were more and more people that were on the Kathleen Kennedy, let's go, she's going to do it, she's a great producer, that have then said she's just not the right person anymore. You can do that. And again, using the sports analogy, how many times you be like, oh, that person's gonna be a great manager, and I'm like, yeah, he's just not a good manager. It's not working, or it's not a good manager for this team.
Yeah, I think that sexist people are going to be sexist to no matter what. But of course, I don't think that the majority of people who don't want Kathleen Kennedy in charge anymore, I don't think that stems from sexism.
Right.
Of course, there is sexism for some people, but when you've been around for as long as you have and you've done enough projects, then people are able to judge you based on your merit.
Yeah, it is. But I just think
better or worse.
Yeah, I totally agree. But my point with all that is that it is telling though that there's going to be more excitement in the air for a Star Wars project in the future now, because they're going to want to see what the new people are going to do. And now that she's gone, people are like, this. I mean, this is a big story for a reason. They're like, oh, can Star Wars get back on track now? That's not great for your legacy. Going back to Mike's earlier point of not walking out with like a movie under your name, because now everybody's talking about like all the bad stuff that you did. Because you, as you said, Roxy, your last good movie was 2019, or your last not good movie, your last movie,
successful movie.
Your last successful movie was 2019. So, and it is telling is that now there is going to be excitement in the air again for Star Wars because there's going to be new people. Now that doesn't mean it's going to be an easy ride for whoever gets in there. That's why I really do think it is imperative for them to find someone who is. You find a producer, you find someone who is going to take that shot, and you have to remember it's not just Star Wars. That's the other thing I want to see Lucasfilm do. I want to see whoever becomes the head of Lucasfilm make some original movies for Lucasfilm, make some new things for Lucasfilm, make some whether it's
not IP, just
create new things. You're a production company. Create new fantasy things, and look. Lucas took a shot at that Strange Magic thing that he did, or whatever, too, and that animated film that he did, and like. Take some shots, make some new movies. They're
not going to do that, though.
You could.
I'll bet they're going to try and get Indiana Jones going, though.
You think so? Like a TV show?
Something, but that was a mistake. That's a mistake.
Why you think that they shouldn't touch in the property ever again?
I think Indiana Jones is Harrison Ford, and the time is done.
I'll tell you the only way that I'd be okay with it is an animated series, because the dude that not only
the games.
Yeah,
the games, the guy that does the voice.
That's where I'm coming from.
It might be like 20 years from now.
Animated? You can do animated.
No. I'm just saying, never again. No indie ever again.
But in 20 years from now, Rox, you run into the problem that is like things like the Fall Guy, that you're trying to go off of an IP that people don't even know what it is. Like 20, 30 years from now, you're going to try and mine nostalgia on a character you'll get me in the theater, but you're not going to get a whole
trilogy of Star Wars versus the prequels.
But Star Wars has always been going, and it's been Indiana Jones is defined by an actor. He's defined by an actor. Whether anyone wants to say it's not, it is. It's not like James Bond, where we've always had different actors as James Bond. If let's say after the original trilogy of Indiana Jones, another actor came in 5-6 years later and they did it again, it's different, but it's defined by his character.
It's literally he's the titular character, which is different. Than
it is Harrison Ford.
Yeah,
it'll be tough to replace him, because I even though there are people who argue with me, I think it's one of the main reasons that Solo was tough to do, because
it is.
I like Alden Ehrenreich. I like him. He's to me, he didn't embody Han Solo at all, and that's because Harrison Ford made it very hard to do it other than him. There are people that probably could have done it. I don't think Alden did it in the way that they were hoping, but nonetheless, this is a major thing. Now the question is, what happens in those 10 months that are left, or whatever, 9 months that are left for her? Roxy, what does she do? Does she start to put the places in? Does she wait for Iger to announce who the successor is, or does she recommend and say, hey, is it Carrie Beck who's out there? I don't think that's the choice, but that's a possibility. Is it anybody else that is in there? Is it a different producer? Somebody, PLD was texting me earlier, and he said, what about Simon Kinberg? Right? Simon Kinberg would scare me, But his idea of the reason why is because he would get movies made. He can get deals put together pretty fast.
A lot of people can do that.
True. But Simon
don't-
Kinberg in the Star Wars universe knows it pretty well.
I think 90% of the time it's not the right call to have the person losing the job, whether you're stepping away or otherwise, be the person to name their replacement.
Totally agree.
Because they just don't have the same interest in the future of the company that other people who are still involved in
You
the
mean
company.
like George Lucas saying, "Hey, Kathleen Kennedy should be my successor"?
I do mean like that.
Yeah.
And a million other examples.
Right.
Because it's just like you want people who have to work with this person and people who are still involved with this and people who have the interest in the best of the company to be the ones who are doing the replacements. There are very few scenarios. Like if somebody, and I hate to keep going back to this because it sounds like I'm like wishing something, which is so not the case. But in the case that somebody is ill or something, and they are like really trying to do everything they can to make an easy transition, the best future, save their legacy or whatever, then maybe being involved in the selection process might be valuable in about 10% of the cases or less. But in general, no, I don't think that. Not because it's Kathleen Kennedy, but anybody. I just don't think that them picking who should take over for them makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I like Rox. That makes a great point because look at what just happened with Bond. Like Broccoli and Wilson stepped aside, and they didn't say, "All right, these people are now going to shepherd the franchise." They're like, "No, we're done. This era of James Bond is over. Amazon is going to be a new era. Whether that's successful or not, that's on them." So I think
and she's probably going to recommend somebody. Is what will happen now. It's up to Iger whether or not he says, hey, I'm going to look for somebody else, or I'm just going to, or I don't want to deal with it. Kathleen said that, I've been looking at what Carrie Beck has been doing, and she's respected. She understands the product. Great. Carrie Beck will take it. I think that he should do an interview process. I think they should find somebody, like I'm telling you, the answer is it's not a Favreau. It's not a Filoni. It's not a Kinberg. It's a producer out there that is ready for the next step. It's a producer out there that is ready to say, okay, now is the time for me to do this. I've been a fan of this for a very long time. I know it's something I want to. It's someone who's anxious to do it. Someone who is ambitious. Somebody who wants to really make this happen. And has an overall plan of what they would do, and has great relationships.
If they end up selecting another woman, what do you think is going to be the majority of the reaction? Do you think at first people are going to be pissed?
Yes,
like overwhelmingly.
Yeah, and they shouldn't be, because you need to figure out who that person is first.
I think the voices on the internet are going to be outraged.
Yeah.
I think the rest of the world won't even care.
Yeah,
they won't care.
Yeah, you just
look. Shit.
For me, I don't give a shit who it is, as long as if they fit those credentials of what I just said, of there's an overall plan of
because you're not sexist, Kristian, so of course you don't care,
right? But it's the same thing with like Superman coming up, right? It's all about that first movie, and the benefit that the new person has is going to be, Mandalorian and Grogu won't be theirs. It won't be, because it'll still be under Kathleen, and I mean they're pretty much done with it. They'll shepherd in. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
The difference is the fact that there is no new Star Wars banner. Like DC said, all right, this is going to be the DCU, and these are this, and this is under our banner. Everything else is gone. Right. I don't think Star Wars is going to do that.
No,
that was keep making Star Wars movies.
Well, on the text chain with my brother and my friend James this morning, they were both saying that they should decanonize the new movies. And I go, they're not going to do that. You mean hurt egos?
That would be insane if they did that.
There's no world that they would do that. And then the other side of it was starting over and just rebooting everything. Star Wars isn't in that they don't have that luxury the way that DC and Marvel does. And Marvel doesn't even really have that. DC has it. But they don't really have that luxury because it's those first three movies, because Marvel and DC, they stem from the comic books.
Comics change every month, every couple of years.
I still think Marvel could completely reboot. I think they could 100%.
But after so long, maybe. If I doubt they're going to do it, but maybe. But the reason that they would be able to
either, but I think that they should. They could, and they should.
The reason that they could, though, Rox, is because it's all locked into lore from these. decades of comic books.
Right. This is
Star Wars is based off of it comes from the success of the 3 movies that hit from 77.
I know what's going to happen. I just figured it out.
Yeah.
okay.
You're going to get some exec in there. He's go, guys, I got the brilliant idea. I know what we do. Hasn't been done before.
No.
But what we'll do is we'll establish through the Force that they're able to create portals into other universes.
Yeah.
And there will be a whole other universe with Luke Skywalker and Han Solo that's a different universe, but
They've already did that. The world between worlds. They already did that.
Almost like a multiverse.
Well, but
almost like a multiverse. So hear me out. Almost like a multiverse, but it's not.
There was a
there's some exec saying something like that. There are 100% of some jerk off exec saying that.
There was a rumor that the War Between Worlds would be used to essentially reboot the whole franchise, but it looked like they're not going to do that. But I also here's another question though too. Depending on who this, and this is why it's like we've been talking about this on this show forever. This is the start of a potential regime change, and which is what I said is the number one thing to fix Star Wars is a regime change. Now, the question is though, again, the regime doesn't change if it's someone who's already there that's been working under Kathleen Kennedy. It doesn't work. You got to bring in somebody new, because if that person who Kathleen Kennedy had there already and puts in there, then says, okay, Filoni, you're going to do the same thing that you've been doing, and we're going to be doing the same thing that Kathleen put into place, and we're just going to change it up just a little bit here and do that, then it's the same thing. It's the same organization. But if it's somebody new who comes in and goes, thanks, Dave, but we're not going to do that, and we actually want it to be more like this, and he's like, well, George wouldn't. I don't give a shit what that is. You're going to listen to me now. You need that. Yeah,
but so I hear what you're saying, and this reminds me of a time. I worked at Disney World, and I was a part of a show that had been since one of the parks had opened. 30 years, had been there. And you had performers in that show that had been with the show since it opened. But the management would always change. And those managers would come in and say, okay, we're just like, no, this is how we do things here. You're newer. And it wouldn't be like that, but they would basically say like, yeah, we've been running the show, but they were performers. And then one time management came in, a new management, and they fired like 4 or 5 people to make an example, showing, okay, you do a great job here, but you're our employee. We are the managers. We do things the way this happens. And it changed the dynamic there. So I think if you want to
talk about the show get better?
The show was never bad. It was a great show. And it never went through a bad period. It was always a case of the employees thinking that because they had been there and the management kept changing, but the employers didn't. So you have those stalwarts that are in Star Wars that have been there for a while, and they are very vocal in their opinions. But if they're not perceptive to management's change and the way they want to do things, heads might have to roll.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
that's corporate America. That's not just
it is interesting. It is interesting to think that like if this indeed was a agreed thing between Disney and Kathleen Kennedy, and 8 months, are the people behind the scenes going, oh man, are we safe here? What's the deal? Are they going to replace us? It is interesting to see how that's going to happen. I think the infrastructure needs to change there. It's not just her. It needs to change, and they've got to get somebody else in there, and whoever they bring in, that person needs to bring in a team, and needs to bring in a team that can say, okay, this is a person I've worked with before that I want to help execute my plan, because you don't want to walk into the old regime to where it's like, yeah, you hope that they're going to be working with you, but you want some of your people in there too. So it's a very interesting structure, because we know for a fact that Mandalorian Grogu comes out in May of next year. That's going to happen. Filoni, Favreau, they run that thing, or Favreau rather. After that, we don't know yet. We think it's Mangold, but we still don't know when. It's possible it's not even coming out in 2026 anymore. So that gives the new person an opportunity to really put forward that plan, and their movie will be coming out in like 2027, it seems like. Does that sound correct?
Do you think we will see that new movie before we see the new Spider-Verse movie?
No. I mean, yes. Spider-Verse, yes. Yeah, definitely. So, look, there is a lot there. So much so is that we're doing. Roxy, what did we? I didn't even talk to you about this beforehand. What's your time here today?
I'm going to stay till 1, but I cannot stay a minute later than that.
Okay, perfect. Well, actually, I might let you guys out a little earlier today too, because I have to do something as well. So we'll get out like maybe a little. You'll be out. You'll be out in time. Perfect. Well, good. This is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna tell you guys about a few of our sponsors. Then we're gonna come back, and you guys are already throwing in those questions. I got one more story for you, and then we're gonna get to those questions. I want to make sure we get to all of them before we have to take off. So let me tell you guys, I got some great sponsors for you. I've been telling you about them. You guys have been getting them. And I'll tell you about a few more of them right now. And we're going to start with our good friends over at Mando. I was having a conversation with a buddy of mine. Went on a first date the other day. And I said, hey, I understand you got to get all ready. You got to get all spruced up. And I'm telling you what you really need to do, whether you're getting a new haircut, whether you're cleaning your car, you just the nerves start kicking in. Well, one of the things you want to make sure you have taken care of, you don't want to smell like an animal. And that's why you have to use Mando. It's the best. For me, Mando, look, I've been married for over 15 years. And I still making sure that my wife is pleased. When she goes, what's that? She can tell it's Mando. Yeah, I'm confident. I like the spray. And it's not just for your pits. It's for everything. It could be for your thigh folds, your belly buttons, your butt crack, even your feet. It was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. It's clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. It's the best. All products are baking soda free, paraben free. They are amazing. You can choose from a fresh scent, whether it's bourbon leather, clover woods, Mount Fuji, or Pro Sport. I like the Pro Sport one too. I know that Winston's a big fan of the bourbon leather. So if you want to try America's #1 whole body deodorant formula right now, you can find them at Walmart, Target, other retailers across the country. For the best deals, you got to go to shopmando.com. Mando's starter pack, it's perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant. It's got a cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash, deodorant wipes, and free shipping. Everyone loves free shipping. As a special offer for our listeners, new customers will get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack, but you got to use that code Kristian at shopmando.com, shopmando.com. Please support our show, and you got to tell them that we sent you. When you sign up, tell them that we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. Hey, Mando. Robinhood Gold. With Robinhood Gold, you can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on retirement contributions. The privileges of the very privileged are no longer exclusive. With Robinhood Gold, your annual IRA contributions are boosted by 3%. Plus, you also get 4% APY on your cash in non-retirement accounts. It's over 8 times the national savings average. The perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive your 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rate subject to change. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold at $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to robinhood.com/boost. Over 8 times the national average savings account. Interest rate claim is based on data from the FDIC as of November 18th, 2024. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC. Let me tell you about NordVPN. I think I've told you guys about NordVPN, and I'll tell you once again, they're the best. Why? Because if you want to watch sporting events, TV shows, films that aren't available in your region, by switching your virtual location to a country which is showing the event, this is how you do it. You can protect your private data like bank details, passwords, online identity. NordVPN can switch your virtual location, allowing you to save money by purchasing flights, hotels, subscriptions from other countries at a cheaper price. It's the fastest VPN in the world. There's no buffering, there's no lagging while streaming, and it stops your ISP bandwidth throttling. One NordVPN account can be used to up to 10 devices. So to get the best discount off your NordVPN plan, go to nordvpn.com/KH show, and our link will also give you 4 extra months on the 2-year plan. There's no risk with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. The link is in the podcast episode description box. So make sure you check out NordVPN. All right. thank you to our sponsors. And as I said, if you guys want to help us out, that's how you do it. Make sure you go in the description of the podcast, please, and go and check it out. All right, we're gonna do one more story, and then you guys are already beating Roca this week, so you'll be happy about that. Roxy, can you believe Mike and Steph beat you guys last week?
That was amazing.
I'm done even trying for like that record. I'm happy. It's always nice to win, but that was crazy. It was crazy.
So what happened? What happened?
It was like we had almost over 100, I think, going into questions. It wasn't like we got some big rally, but it just kept building as the questions went on, and like every time Harloff looked, like, wait a minute, and you would lose his place because we kept getting so many of them. It was
so great. That's amazing.
And we would be 293, and then they did. It was crazy.
You guys have a very good vibe together, I will say.
Well, it looks like this week, right now, Rox, you guys are pretty solid at 108. 108. So we're going to do this last story, and then we'll jump into the question.
Poor Roca last time. We had so many.
I know. I can believe it. All right. Disney's live-action Snow White finally hits cinemas in about a month, hopefully marking an end to a long and winding road for the production, which has been the subject of multiple controversies. Some of those have been casting choice, some about the handling of the films. Obviously, CG dwarfs some of the usual backlash that comes with any Disney live-action adaptation, and some reaction to interview quotes by the film star Rachel Zegler regarding the original film story. As time has gone on and more from the film has been shown off, the controversies have faded somewhat as we're now more aware of what the filmmakers are trying to achieve. Speaking with Vogue Mexico, she says she's taking the backlash against the film in stride, saying the overprotective reaction comes from the fans with true passion for the original. Here are her comments. Says, I interpret people's sentiments towards the film as passion. What an honor to be part of something that people feel so passionately about. We're not always going to agree with everyone who surrounds us, and all we can do is our best. I understand that the conversation comes from the community not wanting to be seen as a monolith, but the reality of being Latino and working in this industry is that we are trying to represent the entire diaspora. I know where I've been. I represent it in my narrative, and I carry it in my heart every day. No one can ever tell me that it is not part of me. The film also stars Gal Gadot as the evil queen and Andrew Burnap as Jonathan. Yada 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 yada. Okay, so now it was Rachel Zegler's quote, I believe. It was a little bizarre in there. But
really? You thought that was bizarre?
What? No, the way that they wrote it. The way that they wrote it, it didn't seem like it was. I
think that it sounds like somebody picked up some media training.
That's 100% what that is. You're 100%.
And about time. So happy about that. You're a
little too late though.
Not for me, and I don't think for her future.
For this movie though.
I don't know. I think people were just so pissed and annoyed with her. I was never pissed and annoyed with her. I didn't agree with her comments. And I think that a lot of what she said is because she's young and had no media training. And now she's aging and having more media training. And so I can't believe they didn't do that to start. They need to do that immediately for all actors who are the titular character. If you're from Mackie to Zegler to everybody, you guys all need it, because it is really difficult when you're doing so many hours to not put your foot in your mouth. You have to be trained in it. Also she's talking about representing the entire diaspora of her culture. And that is a big weight on her shoulder. That is she is carrying a load, and she does feel probably like she wants to try to do right by her people first and foremost, which I totally understand. So I thought this was a great statement. I don't know if it's too little too late, but I'm just happy that anybody has stepped in and been like,
it's certain. Yeah, Mike, I think Roxy, it's certainly damage control. It certainly is damage control. And like, hey, we need, you gotta say this, because we're a month away from this movie coming out. And instead of saying, well, the reason why is that they all hate me because they're all racist and misogynist. That's why they hate me, because that clearly could have been what she said next. And instead they said, maybe taking the point that those fans are pretty passionate. And then she comes out and she says it. And Roxy's right. Great statement. The question is, do you feel it's too little too late?
Me?
No,
you're Mike.
with the haircut?
I don't know, dude. I could like what Roxy with Star Wars, and probably me so even more with this. I could care less about Snow White.
Could not care less. Could not care less.
I could not care less.
There you go.
I think the funny thing I'm hearing about this movie is the fact that people don't believe it because you see the poster and they're like, wait a minute. Gal Gadot is jealous of her beauty. Like, I think and I see the poster, it's like, hey, Gal Gadot is one of the most beautiful women on the planet.
That's the point, though, right? It's about
I don't know.
About being jealous of youth and beauty is subjective. So that's the whole point, is that you could be the most beautiful person ever, but jealousy makes you an ugly.
This movie seems like it's fallen under the Captain America vibe of it just can't get a break. You know, I remember first set pictures with the dwarfs, and then they're like,
yeah, but here's the difference.
That's what it was, and then there's CGI, and then it was this.
Here's the big difference, though. This is the difference between Captain America and this movie, which Captain America seems like it's going to wind up being a financial bomb for Marvel now, because week 2 was not good. And that's also because the core fans that wanted to see that movie saw it, and a lot of Marvel fans, casual Marvel fans and things, didn't want to see it and didn't show up. Snow White is going to aim towards kids, and Snow White is going to aim towards families, and they're not going to care about the controversies.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You always bring up Moana 2.
Yeah, right.
Like, this is a Moana 2. Yeah, this could be a Moana 2. It's like no one, the parents with their kids in Disney couldn't care less.
Right. Yeah.
About this nonsense that we in this sphere care about.
We need something to see with the kids. Is this it? And maybe they don't want it. Maybe they say we're over, because not all of the live action movies do well, because I think Little Mermaid broke even. Think so? There's a few. I'm trying to.
Who knows?
It didn't make a profit.
Like they did well. It didn't make a profit.
It didn't make a profit. It either broke even.
Again, those films are not for me.
Yeah.
So I don't really fit when the news comes out about stuff like that. I really don't go too much into it.
Let me see. From what I remember,
Little Mermaid grossed $569 million worldwide as the 7th highest grossing Disney live action adaptation.
Yeah, but it was like $200 million budget. So if it made money, it made like $27 or something. So it didn't.
$27 it made.
Its budget was actually higher than that. It was $240.
Right. So it barely broke even then, basically, or lost a little money. It didn't bomb. It just wasn't a huge success.
Yeah, estimated entire was 355, but I bet it was higher than that.
Right, with everything else too involved in it. So you always plan, if it's like 2, or you would assume you got to do at least 500, 550, and it didn't, or just did just that. So that's it. Okay, so I think that we'll see what happens after that first weekend. If what we're talking about here with the families, you know.
Yeah, I mean, when we're comparing it, I guess this point has probably been made. I don't know, and maybe it's not super relevant. And I'm going to see this movie regardless. And I like Rachel Zegler as an actress, but for Little Mermaid, like, mermaids can obviously be any. You could be black and be a mermaid. Who cares? The casting, I don't think should have any impact. It is a little funny that this character is called Snow White because her skin is supposed to be as white as snow, and that it is Rachel Zegler. I wonder how they're going to address that in the film.
I think that they said they would, but it's like that whole other conversation. But either way,
totally. I don't mean to open a can of worms. I'm curious.
You're wrong.
If it's addressed in the movie at all. Like, I do feel like that's why I think especially she needed media training. That question is very obviously
gonna be
a more valid question than it is for other movies where you're doing like literally that's why it's, I think, called that. So
well, we'll see. That movie comes out next month. So we're not doing TV this week, but
you're not.
You didn't send me any pics.
You didn't ask me.
Yeah.
Rox, are you watching
Severance?
Yeah.
I got a TV pick for you, Roxy.
Yeah.
Do you watch Lioness?
No, it's so crazy. It's the one Sheridan show that I'm not watching, and I hear it's absolutely amazing.
Season 1 was good. Season 2 is incredible.
I thought we were on season 2.
Sheridan, man, that guy can't miss. That guy,
I loved Landman, and that was his most recent. Like, I absolutely loved it.
You gotta watch Lioness.
And what came back this week was 1923.
Yeah, I know. Did you watch it?
Yeah, of course. I have a lot of TV.
And how
picks
was
for
it? How was
You want
the
them?
first episode of 1923?
I thought the first episode was awesome. I think that show is awesome. It's really,
I'm
really well
excited to hear
done. Really good. Happy
We'll
to see
come back.
Harrison Ford
We'll
back
come
on my
back
screen.
with picks for TV next week. for
Okay,
sure.
let me just prep people.
Sure.
Watch these for next week so we can talk about it. Reacher's back.
Yep.
So I've been watching that. White Lotus had its second episode. 1923. Obviously Severance. Yellow Jackets is here. And I am halfway through the American Murder Gabby Petito docuseries.
Any good?
I mean, it's
Is
so
it well
sad.
made? But
It's-
right.
yeah,
it's well
it's
made.
extremely well made.
Yeah.
I like want to put my head through a wall watching it
Yeah.
because there was just so many like turn back now moments. But yeah,
All right. Well, we'll get back to Roxy's picks, but we're gonna go. Like I said, I gotta end the show today in like 45 minutes. So we're gonna try to get through. We're gonna get through all the questions. So let's start. Mike Joyce, what happens if Star Wars doesn't get better after she leaves? What if the people complaining most about her have just aged out of being a Star Wars fan? Nah, that's not it's not a matter of that. See, that's the whole thing. It's not just a matter of people. It's
no, but
This
that
is
first
what-
part is real, Christian. That
the
first
first part
question
is. The
valid.
second part, though, it drives me nuts because the second part is it's all about what we were talking about beforehand. It's not just about one person saying, "Oh, it's Kathleen Kennedy because she got a vagina." It's not. That's not it. It's more like it's a bad management team. So it's like more people. If you're a fan of the genre and or the IP at all, you should be asking that question. Now, what if it happens if it doesn't get better after she leaves? The same people should be looked at. You got to put together the right team. It's all about team. Look at Marvel. Marvel had to form Marvel Studios and get Kevin Feige in there in order to start building their plan. Their movies weren't hitting left and right. They had Spider-Man that worked. Some of the X-Men movies did. Some of the X-Men movies sucked. Like Sony or Fox was the premier Marvel spot before MCU started building. Sony had some stuff and it was spread out all over the place, but the X-Men were the spot. So you just got to find the right team. Okay. Next one here is Ewok. You know what really grinds my gears? A home run trailer like Andor ruined by his choice of music. They had the goods and they botched it, like Indy with the Javitas. I had it, Marcus. I had it in my hand. Yeah. It's so true.
Good reference.
It was a great reference. I couldn't stand that music. It was terrible. But it also I wish that they would have just put here's the thing. The Star Wars show.
The new Andor trailer.
Yeah, it was great.
I
And
didn't see it.
the trailer itself was great. The music was terrible.
What was it? Lyrics or no?
Yes, lyrics and like hard rock and whatever. And people are like, don't you get it? It's revolution. I don't care. Here's something that they might want to use for a Star Wars show. Just hear me out. That's crazy. Star Wars music could work. Might work. Get you psyched up for Star Wars. Putting some Star Wars music. I don't know.
Kathleen Kennedy's making those decisions. She's going out
Nah, that's not her.
flaming. She's going out flaming.
Not her. She definitely didn't.
Right.
That's the trail. That's the trailer company. Jose Diaz, just sending some positive vibes and support. Thank you, Jose.
Thanks.
Roxy and Mike for the win.
Thanks.
Simon Section. Hey, Kristian, another great reaction from you and Sam minus my taco breakfast. I didn't know you had that Julia Roberts thong in your email. Also, what is that? TM.
Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire wasn't the first live action Spider-Man. Wait. Yeah, okay. It was Nicholas Harmon from The Sound of Music.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The 70s
Yeah.
TV show.
For people like, what the hell is he talking about? There's a line inside of the first Spider-Man where J.K. Simmons says, if we can get a picture of Julia Roberts in a thong, we can get a picture of Spider-Man. And Sam and I laughed about
That is funny.
that. Simon Section. I remember seeing the TV movie playing in the theater across the pond in the UK. Well, there you go. Yeah, for people who don't know, that reaction with Sam is up now. We put it up this morning. Shay Markel, I love the Spider-Man reaction. I wonder what Sam will think when she realizes Mary Jane is the true villain of the OG Spider-Man franchise. I don't know. Yeah, she's that's the only one. Spider-Man 3 is the one she remembers like the back of her hand because her son used to watch it all the time. So that'll be the first movie that we've done together that won't have first time watching on it. It'll just be.
But you're still gonna watch it?
Yeah, because it's I want to have them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have the whole franchise. Plus, we're going into Andrew Garfield's because the other thing is she still has to be refreshed on it too, because she's not gonna watch this. But it's like it all leads up to No Way Home, all the every character that's involved in this. So I wanted to see it all. RQM DSMD support for Roxy and Jess were stunning at the SAG Awards. That's right. I'm glad you brought that up. Did you have the best time ever at the SAG Awards?
It was so awesome, Christian. It
Good.
was just so you guys know I was supposed to go to the Critics' Choice.
Yeah.
I didn't end up making it there. It was really cool to the SAG Awards. It was so cool, you know, like this is my dream, and to live any tiny part of it ever. I was just like, oh, this is like everything I ever. It was so cool. It was so cool.
And I saw you get to see Cynthia Erivo. You must have been so happy.
Oh my God. Yeah. It was so cool. I mean, Harrison Ford was so funny. He did like everybody was chanting his name, and he did that thing.
Yeah, I saw it.
It was so everybody that I saw, though. I mean, like, I'm just a super fan of all these people. Like,
I love that.
It was cool.
And to which my choice is Roxy. It was a very Glinda-esque dress that you wore.
Thank you. It was really great. This PR company sent it to me to wear.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah,
that's great.
Oh my God. Because I could not afford, but I'm going to do a TikTok about this later, Kristian, but I was put on a worst dressed list.
Oh, no. Really?
What? No, Roxy.
Please.
By who?
What? How do you not send that to me so we could talk about that beforehand?
Because this is for me and my content, Kristian. I just gave you the exclusive. The rest is on for me.
Oh, now I got to look it up. I'll look it up afterwards. All right. That's amazing. Good for you.
Thank you.
Big Bang OT4. Kevin Feige to replace Kathleen Kennedy. You know, we didn't talk about that. He's got too much he's working on right now. He'd have to start at the end of the year. He'd have to leave Marvel at the end of the year. That would shake up things. But he wants to work on the X-Men. He ain't going anywhere.
I think people would be so stoked about that. But as somebody who likes Kevin Feige and as somebody who's a casual Star Wars fan, that would not be exciting news for me.
You know, what it'd be like, the Rocks? It'd be like when Theo Epstein left the Red Sox and went over to the Cubs.
So not exciting news to me, you mean?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
I know. Big Bang OT4 New Paradise episode was a masterpiece. That's the one with Sterling.
Everyone Hulu show Paradise. I will get on that, but so many new shows keep dropping that my returning shows I can't get to Paradise yet.
Ewok. Many people seem to have a negative view of Amazon taking over the Bond franchise, and rightfully so. But if you had to look at positively, then what excites you the most about Amazon taking over, Mike?
Honestly, there's not something I'm excited about. Like I can't. I'm not excited about a streaming show that would be a spinoff of it. They don't do theatrical releases well. So what am I to get excited about right now? But hey, like I'm going to say it like this, and something that I try and tell people. No matter what Amazon does, it doesn't take away 60 years of James Bond that I have that I love. It doesn't affect any of that. It's not going to change anything. It's not going to take away from Connery, any of the actors, any of the films. It can only get better. If it gets worse, I still got Bond. It's there.
My favorite thing about it is that it made our DC movie news chat be popping again.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it did.
I love, yeah.
Jim 1. Roxy, how was the Screen Junkies reunion with Spencer and the gang?
I haven't seen Spencer in like 6 years or something.
Oh, wow.
So that was crazy. It was really, really cool to see people that I haven't seen in so long. And then it's also like people like that I brought in the past. Emma Fife is still there, who I think I brought her in for her first show a year into me being there. Now she's surpassed how long I've been there. Like Zach Wilson was there. RB3 was there. Billy, like there's so many people that I like so much. And I haven't seen in so long. So that was really cool. I didn't win though. So, you know, obviously.
Why did they, I was so curious of why they didn't have it. It was hard to find. It wasn't like a separate movie fights thing.
I completely agree. I posted about this and still I had people tagging me like, where do I watch this? And it's never good if you want to watch something and you don't know how to watch it.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure why they did that. Obviously that whatever they're doing is working for them, but I found it difficult to find as well.
Yeah, it was hard to find.
Yeah.
Crystal, love that dress that you wore at the SAG Awards, Rox.
Thank you. I'm glad you did. Daily Mail certainly did not.
I have to definitely check them out. Crystal,
they're UK. Nah, they got good taste, Rox.
I thought the dress is like the most beautiful dress I've ever seen in my life. So if they had an issue with it, it was me that they didn't like. No. It's not the dress.
Crystal says, how was the experience? To which she said it was pretty fun. She talked about that.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Crystal follows it up, gave 10 memberships out. Thank you.
Yes, Crystal.
Incredible. Thank you, Crystal. We've got a lot of new members. Luke, support for the lovely Roxy.
Mwah.
Support for Crystal. Mike seemed to be. Look at Mike. He jumped on the bandwagon now. He's
No. We don't gonna say that because last week I won. I'm not jumping bandwagons. I should have stayed.
I wasn't there.
That's true. Crystal DW Finn, is Mikey fighting his internet again? It's been okay so far. It's been okay so far.
I started it off on a wrong foot.
I had an internet issue during the show too, where it just like started spazzing. I couldn't hear you guys for a minute, and then I came back.
Senpai Dami, do you think we'll get more adult Star Wars after Kathleen Kennedy goes? If they reduce Filoni's role, if they don't reduce his role, then no.
Who did I throw under the bus? You guys can be so annoying.
Don't just stay out of there, buddy. Wog coming in with a huge
anyone under any bus.
Very nice. Wog, you're the best. Wog's always sending me
Wog, get a Wog. Yes, Crystal.
Thank you, Crystal. Really happy for the Wog. Wog's been such a great supporter for such a long time. Crystal DW fan, Mike's show is hopping again. There you go.
No, Mike's show hopping.
Oh, Mike is show hopping. Yes. Support for Roxy and I guess Mikey too. Perfect. Brian Shalito, whiny voice, but it's a whole other year. It's only one more season. Hi, you guys are the best. What's that from? Did we say that? It's a whole another year. It's one more season.
No idea.
I don't know.
Maybe that was when we were talking about Star Wars.
That's a Luke Skywalker thing.
Oh, but
it's a whole other season.
Only one more season. Thank you. God.
I didn't know.
Yeah, it's like it's only years, one more season. You can do it. Yeah. Sorry. Power converters. Noah Sparks. What's the best thing Lucasfilm could do at a celebration to get the fandom back on board? Also, Roxy and Mike are my two favorites. At celebration, I mean, announce
Japan this year, right?
What? Yeah, it's in Japan. More movies. They announce what your actual movies are you planning. Hell, name the damn successor at the at celebration with Kathleen.
That'd be something.
That'd be something.
That would be crazy.
I won't do that. They're gonna do a big like farewell thing for her. They're gonna do they'll do something for her there. All right. So thank you more for Crystal. Crystal coming in hot on a Tuesday.
I'm watching this with the Crystal Roxy love in person.
In person, you get to be part of it this time. I know. Okay. Corey, not Corey, longtime viewer since the AMC days. First super chat. Thank you, Corey. Have you guys watched Wheel of Time on Amazon? Season 3 comes out in March and is on par better than Rings of Power. I watched the first episode of it and dug it, just never went back to it.
I watched the first episode and decided I'm not gonna watch the show.
You. Okay. Yeah. Crystal, I know nothing about Star Wars, but I hope whoever takes over makes Star Wars fans happy.
That's how I feel. Even I know a little, but not a lot.
Look at PLD coming. PLD has an ongoing beef with
PLD.
Ongoing beef with Roka and supports. Look at this. The opposite of support for Roka. PLD putting in, trying to make sure that it's a complete beatdown today. You guys have annihilated Roka. Yes, Roka had 75, so you just beat the piss out of him. Mike Joyce. Why do Mike and Kristian wear hats? They got gray hair because I went to the gym today. So
yeah, usually I wake up and I'm working out early in the morning. I just throw a hat on. I had things I had to do this
hair. Hats are fashionable.
Yeah,
hats
I like
cool.
that.
Yeah, I just start wearing a hat. I'm lazy.
Why does Matt Damon and Ben Affleck wear hats?
Matt Damon. Crystal,
Matt Damon.
Man, I can't wait until Oscars is over so I can stop hearing about Amelia Perez. I think a lot of things that it has died down. Can't believe Netflix. Shush your ass. And I can't believe Netflix is paying for that actress to go to the Oscars. Go ahead now, Mike.
Trisha, what?
Did you read that article on Hollywood Reporter about her that like, hey, we're being unfair? I'm like,
I did see that.
That's an op-ed piece. Holy,
it was an op-ed. It was like I was like, huh. Okay, yeah, it's really interesting. You guys put that out there.
They were being unfair to
Carla.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it was like Carla deserves better or something.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that Netflix is paying the fees. But
I think if they're going to pay for everyone else, they got to pay for her.
Well, because you're going
to. They're trying to avoid a lawsuit.
Yeah, you get a lawsuit. That's exactly right. That's what I said yesterday. Jasuku, thank you.
Jeskuo.
I look forward to hearing Roxy's TV picks. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you.
We'll be back.
At you guys quick, but next week
we'll be back in full force next week. The Cali Kid, thoughts on Oppenheimer IMAX re-release? I love that. If you haven't seen it or you want to go see it again, any of Nolan's movies in IMAX are a must. Go and see it if you haven't done that already. When does it come out? This weekend? Maybe. I don't know. Again, some more support. Thank you, Crystal. Really appreciate it. And then Faint 0903, first time catching you guys live with a new start time. Love all you guys from Hungary. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's so cool.
Wow.
I was wondering, so by the way, it seemed like it was the right call because both yesterday and today we had over at the peak, we had over 1,200 people watching live. So maybe more people wanted to watch it this time. So this is our normal time now. So there you go. Support for Roxy. Thank you. 2 days in a row with really nice numbers. So thank you. Glad Kathleen Kennedy is leaving. This is from R. TLJ and so Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, and hearing how bad some of the shows have been to ruin my interest. Just played the games, which would have been good. I would like to see.
So you didn't see Last Jedi or Rise of Skywalker?
He didn't watch the shows.
No, he saw the movie.
And hearing how bad it has ruined my interest. I see.
So, but then you know what? I'll ask you this question, and this is kind of going my point. Now, because of the regime change, depending on who it is, are you inclined to maybe go check it out now to see what the new plan is and see if there's new people that can change it, or are you just done? Crystal, this whole Blake Lively versus Baldoni situation is crazy. It'd be hard supporting Blake if it keeps going the way it's going. Any thoughts? Yeah, we talked about this yesterday, kind of great depth. I think that the public support has dramatically changed in Justin Baldoni's favor.
Oh,
dramatically.
obviously.
Yeah, dramatically. I mean, but it's
we're on this for the long haul, though, guys. I mean, the trial isn't until spring of next year, so things can switch back and forth. But that SNL stunt for SNL 50, I think they finally saw like, this isn't working for us right now.
No, that was bad. It blew up right in their face. Miriam, support for Roxy, thank you. Crystal, support, and then Shay coming in. If you had to say what is the core story of Star Wars, if Star Wars doesn't need the Skywalkers, what must it have still to be Star Wars, but with a good story? And I think, like, if you look at it's a matter of hope. It's a matter of decision.
It just needs it. It's a story set in a galaxy far, far away. That's all you need.
But
all you need.
I mean, you could do a Jar Jar story in a galaxy far, far away. It doesn't mean that it's what you need. You need the.
I'd watch it.
Pass.
See,
but I think the essence is that, again, it's the clear cut. Everybody has a little evil in you. Everybody has some goodness in them. The question is, can you, like, what choices do you make in order? What do you let get in the way? And
there you go, Harloff. Let me guess, Harloff. You want a redemption story in Star Wars?
God, no.
A redemption story.
Keep people bad. Keep people bad. If you're gonna make a bad decision, stay bad. Jess Kuo. Great to have Roxy in the Star Wars heavy chats because she has no dog in the game and better at navigating these conversations and cutting off certain threads. Yeah, that's why I love having her on, because she's a casual fan. That's the whole point, is that you need, as Mike was saying, it's important to get the casual fans excited about things. And Roxy was asking great questions. So yeah.
I like Star Wars. I've seen all of them. And I like, growing up, loved watching the original trilogy with my brother. You have to be so deep in the weeds to know. Like, I forget who characters are all the time. I mean, people will name a character. I'm like, I don't know who that is. They're like, what?
Right, I know. Miriam, support for Roxy, Mike, and Kristian. You guys rock. Thank you, Miriam.
Thanks.
All up by Shay. For me, Star Wars needs continuity. Couldn't agree more. Love to have a fun trilogy building a new Jedi Order and Justice without a big, massive war in the backdrop. I don't mind the massive war if it's the Sith versus the Jedi. Go back into that time. There's some great stories back there.
You heard it here first. Kristian loves war.
Yep, that's right. Joyous Romer. May the Force be with you, Roxy.
And you, Joyous.
That's right. Al Rensha. Can Filoni be out next? Creative head should be knowledgeable in all eras and not play favorites like Filoni. Hope this makes Knights of the Republic more likely. I don't think he's going to be out. Nah. I think he's a valuable source of information. I just think he's got too much power. You got to strip some of that power. Put him back in animation. Let him run the animation team.
Man, that is so funny hearing you say that now.
I know. I'm not going to pretend that I didn't do a 180. I did a complete 180.
Would you rather Filoni or Favreau be, if there were going to be a duo? If there was going to be a duo and they were going to bring in a businessman unknown, a woman, you'd rather Favreau than Filoni.
Yes. I think Filoni's too tied into he's a lot of the reasons of the things going wrong right now.
Mikey, Favreau or Filoni? Okay,
don't know. Oh, Favreau.
A sequel trilogy could be about a war, but do it like the MCU build up, a huge storyline with Avengers style milestones with lasting stakes. Agreed. That's what they need. They need a plan, Shay. They need a plan. Matt shoots DW4. The sequel trilogy really needed its own Clone Wars animated series to help develop its newer characters. Yes. He did, and like there was a lot of stuff that wasn't. Look, the new sequel trilogy. The problem was there was no plan, and it was like, you do your movie. Well, do I need to follow what this guy did? Not really. Just make a good movie, and we'll make some money on it. Okay, great. And what about the third movie? Well, Colin Trevorrow says, I'm going to follow up and do everything with these guys set up. JJ wants to come back. You're fired. JJ, you want to follow what Ryan did? Nah, I hated that movie. I'm going to do my own thing. Okay, we just have 3 messy movies. Who cares? They all made $1 billion, but the fans are pissed. Who cares? Captain Cisco. DJT signed executive order to fire Kathleen Kennedy. Who's DJT?
Donald J. Trump.
Oh, there we go. I'm telling you today, I am my head's all over this. Yeah. Fire.
I thought you were pretending to not know because you didn't want it.
Oh, I didn't know. Jess Tatata. Hello, Jess. Issue that I have was modern movies, especially Marvel movies, is what happened to the magic of filmmaking. We no longer see big, beautiful sets, gorgeous miniature, incredible stunts. Everything feels fake. I don't disagree with you, Jess. There's a lot of stuff like that is. Now, that's why I was so excited to hear that the Odyssey is going, what he's doing there. And it's also why Andor is working. Andor has a lot of practical effects and other things too. So, do you guys still agree with Jess's statement there?
100%. There's a guy online that did this great video about why all movies look the same now. It's because they're all shot on green screen with flat lighting so that they can change and manipulate.
Yes.
However they want to change and manipulate. Like, did you see that video recently of Ghostbusters?
No.
Where they filmed them on green screen and then superimposed like the Library of New York City behind them. I'm like, that's not even fun to watch. Like, why? Like, it can't even be fun to make that movie.
I hear you guys, but I
like,
do think that if what you're focusing on is that, it means the story wasn't there for you. Like, really, I think it all comes down to the stories. I don't think people aren't liking movies because of how they're shot as much as what's happening. I've never loved a story of a movie. I've never loved a script and been like, I would have loved this movie if it wasn't for the miniatures. And I'm not saying it's not cooler to do things practically, but I think that
I think digital. I also think digital had a lot to do with that too. I think the not using film has hurt also. Crystal, I hope Star Wars, DC, and Marvel make good shows and movies that fans can be excited for again. I'm really hoping Daredevil is good.
Still the best.
Daredevil's getting some good reviews so far. I've got
just got screeners for that.
Did they come in though?
Oh, no, they're dropping Thursday.
Yeah, I got it too. So I'm just waiting to wait.
But they released. I thought this was interesting. They gave us all of them.
Oh, you're getting the whole series. Okay.
Yeah.
Crystal D, do we fan support for Roxy? Excited for that. Thank you, Crystal.
Crystal, you rock.
You guys are at 182.
I love Crystal. I love Crystal.
Patty Boy, thank you for being a bright light in this dark space. Thank you, Patty Boy. Spread rational thinking, sans negativity is a nuanced rarity. Love Kristian, Roxy, and Mike. Thank you, Patty.
Patty Boy, it's me, Daddy.
No, it's not what he says. Okay. More support. Crystal coming in hot. Crystal getting Roxy.
I see this. Jesus.
This is the first time that because Crystal's trying to come back hard because last week it was the first time Crystal hasn't lost and she lost last week. Joey Pedros, at the moment, Iger's contract ends in 2026. And with Kennedy leaving, they really need to make sure we don't get another Chapek situation for Disney and Star Wars. That's a good call, Joey.
That could be a 1-2 punch combo.
It'd be a good call. They need to get that. They know they need to get that ship righted, though. They know that they need to. It is an absolute moneymaker for them if they get it working again, and that's what they're going to try to do. Captain Penis. Mike is a pretty boy. Roxy is beautiful. Thank you, Captain Penis.
Captain Penis
coming in hot for the Captain Penis. Go, pal, with the support. Some more support from Crystal. This one is from Ryan Ferris. Best way for Star Wars to reboot is to start in the past. Yep. Old Republic or High Republic, simpler to recent Apes trilogy. That being said, Zoobly Zoo. Indeed. That's kind of you said it better than I did, Ryan. That's kind of why I wanted that, because you're so far removed from anything. You can set up your whole universe thousands and thousands of years prior, and you don't have to stick to the rule of 2. You could do a whole bunch of stuff. So I agree. Very much so. Again, Crystal coming in. Hizat today. More support. Just well. Star Wars was best when Marcia Lucas balanced out George. I'm not going to disagree with you. She was so great and she really looked upon someone she was editing. It's amazing.
Sorry, I actually don't know who this is. Is this his wife?
This is wife.
This is his ex-wife, yeah.
And she was his editor.
She was editor, and she did a lot of things. A lot of things. It's great.
He edited the original trilogy?
Yeah. And that's very cool. Well, and came up with ideas and said, you need to do this, kept them
and then they got divorced?
Yes. And then the prequels happened. She wasn't there. Sahita K. Lost Stars still sticks with me. If only a series or films or maybe a streaming show. Limited series, what would you have liked to see hypothetically? So, again, this is all rumors, but the rumor I heard a long time ago is that Lost Stars was pretty close, and Kathleen Kennedy said it was too inside baseball and no one would get it. That's what I heard.
Lost Stars.
I read this and I thought
thing?
they were asking us about Lost, the TV show.
Me too.
I was like, oh, because 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42. Of course, they're asking us.
No, Lost Stars.
If the stars stick
Lost
with you,
Stars
they stick
is
with
a
me
TV
too.
show.
Yeah, no, Lost Stars was a novel.
Nah.
Which would have been great, and I was excited to hear that it was a potential, but then too inside baseball apparently. So the answer for me is a Darth Plagueis miniseries, what they could do on Disney Plus, or Darth Bane. I'd love to see it. Mr. Dave, John Lithgow confirmed he will play Dumbledore. I love John Lithgow. I don't think it's the right choice, not because of performance, because the guy is 82 years old and they're trying to go 10 years into the, with this. I think it's a bad move. I think God forbid I'm wrong. And I hope, not God forbid, I'm hoping I'm wrong.
God forbid I'm wrong. I hope he dies.
Hope he dies. But I'm hoping that the man lives for a very long time. I love John Lithgow, but like that's a lot to do. 82 years old, whatever he is. Yeah.
He's 79.
Is he? Okay, 79.
But
Still,
I don't think what you just said is not relevant.
Right.
Yeah.
But 79, 82 is not too far off. Richard Allen, shouldn't the 90-day streaming window start after a movie leaves the theaters? Incentive to stay in the theaters longer and make more money. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. You look at Five Nights at Freddy's, it is going to be that one that says, okay, we released in the same day and we made a lot of money in both theater and TV. So it's case by case, I think. Roxy, do you have some TV picks you'd love to watch? Mirjam.
So many. Yeah. Number one being Severance right now. Yellow Jackets probably being number 2.
Yep. Okay. Mike Joyce, not going to bring up anything mentioned on World Girls per Roxy's wishes, but why is that an issue? Wouldn't talking about World Girl here help bringing more people to World Girl?
Oh my God, Mike, you're still stuck on this, bro. And you bring it up in the Discord all of the time. And I've explained it like 80 times. So I don't know if I'm just not saying it in words that compute or what. We have a little mini audience and they're super loyal. And we talk to you guys every day in the Discord and we know you guys. And like things that we talk about there are and sometimes it's on our Patreon and sometimes it's just like with 50 people. It's different than bringing a topic over to Kristian's show, which is a much larger scale show with people even in the chat who don't know me, don't give a shit about me, and then take things completely out of proportion and say different things. If I wanted to bring up something on the show, I would. So I feel like I've been super clear about it. I don't know why you and I aren't on the same page.
I. Roman Fedorak, one for the lovely, ever lovely, and awesome Roxy. Mike Joyce follows up. My favorite theater is the only part of a mall that I used to go to as a kid. It's sad how rundown it is now. What happened to your favorite mall? My favorite mall is not too far from my place now, although I haven't been here since I've been there.
Mike, I'm a big mall guy, my friend. I like to do what I call the rounds. I like to go to the mall, walk around, get a Cinnabon or get a Wetzel's pretzel.
Oh,
I'm an old school guy.
There you go. Thank you.
I love malls. Yeah. I would go to a mall 10 out of 10 times. Everybody made fun of me on the World Girls because this is something I'll bring up. Steph and Dorino like trees, and we were at one time at Descanso Gardens, and I said I'd rather be at the mall, and I got shredded.
Oh, I'm sure you did. Roman Fedorak, one for the always fun Kalinowski.
Descanso Gardens, and you're walking around and like, I'd rather be at a mall.
Yeah.
This is beautiful. I'd rather be at the mall. And they were like, the world stopped for a second. They were like, what?
They looked at you like,
I got a pompadour?
That's what
is it really that bushy?
I love it. It's great.
Listen, I love the outdoors. I love. Oh, yeah.
Mike, look at the camera saying, all right. So, Roman, I like it too. Roman Fedorak, one for KH bringing them all together. Thank you, Roman. Crystal, a little more support there for Crystal. Thank you. Crystal gave 5 more memberships here today. Thank you very kindly.
One for each of my pompadours.
Yes. And we are moving.
Johnny Bravo over here.
Johnny Bravo, indeed.
Oh my God. I forgot about Johnny Bravo.
I'm watching this Crystal fan stuff for you. Here we go.
Well, Crystal says, sad to see Captain America movie drop off so big. Hopefully Thunderbolts does better. It will. Because of that.
I don't know, dude. I was sitting there thinking about this, and I had high hopes for Thunderbolts, but seeing the audience, of course, opening weekend big because everyone wants to see Marvel, and then the drop off. Thunderbolts doesn't have like the attachment to Captain America that like
I know,
they're
but
all unknowns.
I think it's gonna be a better movie, and I think it's landing.
I don't think that's gonna matter. I think they're just the
only
audience
reason
just gonna
why
show up.
it's when it lands in May, though, dude. It's a summer movie. It's got a better shot.
I definitely think it matters how the movie is. I think this movie would have done better if it had been better received.
Yeah, agreed.
Wait,
Nathan Drake.
What?
You said it doesn't matter if Thunderbolts is a better movie. I think it does
Captain
matter.
America would have done better if it was better received.
Yeah.
I agree with Roxy. Nathan Drake. How long will they spend with He-Man on Earth? Hopefully 3 seconds.
Oh God, I was just talking this the other day. I hope to God
3 seconds, and then they realize how stupid of an idea it was to be on Earth in general.
Please
It'll be about 20 minutes, and then I'm gonna stick my head in a popcorn
Is
batter.
that Noah Centineo or who is it?
It's a new guy.
No, it's the
He
guy.
looks good.
It's the guy from the Anne Hathaway movie.
He
The
looks
one
good.
he was.
He got really big too.
The movie that Anne Hathaway was just in, it was an Amazon movie. You'll know it, Roxy, when you look at it.
know.
Anyway, Stephen
Talking
Orford.
about the Rom-Drom movie, right?
Yeah, yes. When he's like the musician and they're dating.
I'm trying to remember who's the guy. in the
Sven
movie.
Orpheus. What do you guys think about the SAG Awards? Go Timmy. Glad that he won. Really happy that he got at least one win. He won't win the Oscar, but I'm glad that he did.
I loved his speech. People were
me too.
shredding it,
Loved
but I thought it was excellent.
Loved his speech.
Let people, if you want to go for the gold, go for the gusto, go for it.
Oh,
loved
wait, Nicholas Gallans.
Yes.
Gallenstein is
Yeah.
He-Man? Wow.
Yeah.
I think I knew that. Yeah. Okay.
Gabriel LaRue. I started to watch Suits. Is it just me, or is the main character Harvey Specter look like the discount Walmart version of Ben Bateman? I didn't watch the new Suits, but I hear it's not doing very well.
I never saw the old
The original.
Suits. Yeah.
Me neither.
Okay, yeah, I never got into it. Crystal, Gal Gadot is jealous. It's hard to believe. She's so pretty, but interested to see how they do Snow White. I mean, you got to remember, this is not the first time they've done a really hot queen. They've done Charlize Theron, Julia Roberts. They've done a ton of them before.
Yeah, I think that's the whole point. It's not about how good looking you are. It's how you
not
are.
what
There's someone always going to be you're jealous of.
Yeah.
Yeah, why'd your mic get good all of a sudden?
What?
Yeah, your mic changed. It's good.
What do you think about David Greenbaum's movies so far? Do I know David?
I had to look up who this was, and he's a producer who has done. I'll tell you guys right now. I'm now on Nicholas Gallenstein. So hold on, let me go back.
You come back.
Yeah, what was the person's name? David Greenbaum. Yeah, okay. They've done. They produced Shape of Water, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. JoJo had something to do with Jojo Rabbit. Kinds of Kindness, Fire Island.
Well, that's movies, so you're listing off.
Norman Land, Lucy in the Sky, all different things, like different. The president of production is one of their titles on a lot of stuff. Production executive. So Grand Budapest, they were production executive. Hitchcock, Stoker, Ruby.
Well, then we like your movies.
I haven't seen, but yeah.
So Shahida K. Is there a real tangible chance that Kennedy leaving could lead to Lucasfilm scrapping everything post the prequels? Or is it too many cogs turning, too many egos involved in it too? Now, I really do think that their best course of action is to go all the way back.
Let's go back.
Yeah.
Back to the beginning.
Al Rensha, no interest in Snow White due to the CGI dwarves. No Prince Charming and Zegler Godot's comments. They showed zero respect for the original and a fake response. Hey, title to the opinion. I do think there's going to be more people there that are going to feel that way. I really do.
You're allowed to not go see a movie you don't want to see.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, moving down the line. Crystal coming in hot. Yay, we beat Roca. You annihilated Roca. Ryan, is Kennedy's news premature? Not confirmed by her or Lucasfilm. Variety says one source says she's retiring, but another source says nothing decided. Well, I mean, it'd be pretty silly for her to stick around now, considering people are basically throwing a parade in the street to see that she's gone. I think
that ship is now left port.
She's I
think she expected that, though. She's smart. She's smart enough to know.
Yeah. Mirjam, are you watching Love is Blind, Roxy?
Yeah, obviously. It's like, no. You don't like the season either, Mike?
Shannon watches it. I've hated it since season 1.
Yeah.
I cannot sit there, Roxy, and watch these people after 4 hours. Oh my God, to hear your voice, it's like I know that the love I'm going to feel for you forever is going to be there. And I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Whoa.
I'm the most romantic guy in the world. Shut the fuck up.
Orange Crow 55. We need a sequel era shows to do what Clone Wars did for the prequels. It's a chance to redeem the era, in my honest opinion. I would love to see it. I'm telling you, put Filoni back into animation. Put him back there. Nathan Drake, Roxy, that dress was 10 out of 10. Wow. Who cares about Daily Mail?
Thank you so much.
Right. Matthew Grant. But who's going to put a chicken in a mango? Okay, stop it, Matthew. Crystal DWN. Is World Girl still on Wednesday this week?
We're not sure yet whether we're going to do tonight, late night, or whether we're going to do Wednesday morning before Kristian's show. We'll let you guys know in the next couple of hours. Come on. How am I going to be on a worst dress list? This is so cute.
Yeah, it's true. Turds.
You think it's bad, Mikey?
No, I like it.
I don't know about the color.
Oh, wow. Sun Tzu.
I like
They
the style.
like the color. They didn't like the ruffles.
Goddamn.
I like the.
Thanks.
I saw that in black, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, gang. Yo, gang. Goddamn Pandaverse. Thanks, South Park. What's that?
Pandaverse?
That's from Pandaverse. That's from the.
I see.
That was funny.
Pandaverse.
You pretend to be a South Park fan, but anytime there's South Park references, you don't know.
I knew it. I remember it now. It was a funny episode. Saraba Friend. Real talk. What does Kathleen Kennedy actually do? Answering sincerely. I mean, she does a lot. I mean, it's just whether or not you like
puts the deals together, gets the money.
Deals,
the money woman.
Together, meeting with all creators, meeting with
bringing in new directors.
Yeah, you got to be the back and forth liaison with the studio. I mean, a lot. The answer is
it's a good point. They're unsung heroes of making a movie.
Yeah. Here we go, Matt. Thank God Kathleen Kennedy's leaving. Hope this is a resurgence for the franchise. Such a shame we'll never get the 03 back on screen for a better offering. Yeah, I mean, that was a bummer that they decided not.
I think the fact that we never got all three of them together
was a bummer.
Massive problem.
Yes. Crystal, thank you. Fascia Bruta. What's Kristian, Roxy, and Mike's favorite pizza? I'll tell you, I'm normally either cheese or Sicilian, but recently there's a burrata slice over here that is just out of control.
Rox?
I don't eat cheese, so I love pizza, but I do it cheeseless, so nobody cares about what I like.
Yeah, it's true.
No, I don't care.
No,
I love a spicy pepperoni, but they got to be the pepperoni cups to hold a little bit of the oil in them.
I love a spicy pepperoni too.
Oh, well, RQMDSMD support for Roxy and Mike's dogs.
They're being good today. So.
Mike, did you read for Kirk on Strange New Worlds?
I didn't.
Oh
no, I saw that when he popped up. I was like, I could play that.
Yeah, for sure.
DJ Case giving up 10 memberships. Thank you. Tetrone 9101 supporting the whole team, but really just Roxy. All right, that's fair. More from Crystal, and then Renetta support for you all. Jenny Lynn enjoying the show. Sister's having breast reconstruction surgery right now, waiting for updates. I hope that everything is well, Jenny. Home taking care of the puppies. Much love. Thank you very much for that, and thank you.
Hope for an easy recovery.
Yes, Shane Joel. You see Matt Damon promoting Andrew Schultz vet. I saw them having a conversation in promoting the Netflix series. Maybe he thinks he's funny.
Oh, is that guy? Oh yeah,
Andrew Schultz.
I know that is
Support for Roxy.
Why do people not like him?
He's got. I mean, he had. I think it's the Kendrick stuff that they had the back and forth with. So he's got.
He had a back and forth with Kendrick.
Oh yeah.
Andrew Schultz.
Yeah. Look it up.
Kendrick, the guy from the Super Bowl.
Yeah. The guy from the Super Bowl. Kendrick, Captain Cisco, Ryan Coogler should run Star Wars now. Again, directors should not be doing executive battles. They shouldn't, unless you're going to pair them up with somebody like they did for James Gunn. And we don't even know if he likes Star Wars.
Go Crystal, go Crystal,
Thank
go.
you. Crystal is crushing right now. Evil John Madden.
Jesus.
Have you started working out with Sarah? Not Sarah yet. Started working out with my friend Chris. My goal is to try to get into a place where I'm healthy enough to be able to go in and do jiu-jitsu and not die. Thank you, Crystal. Thank you, Crystal. Thank you, Crystal. Crystal is coming in hot here today once again. And I got it. If you guys, I got to try to put a close to it because I got to run out the door here. Once there's a new regime, I'll be there for it if the stuff is good. Been loving the games. The games. Just wish there were more, but they take. Yeah, it's true.
Could you hear that?
No, but I saw you sneeze.
You sneeze. Thank you, R. Al Rencha. Does this make Knights of the Republic more likely? Man can dream. Not when Filoni's there. Filoni's got to be docked.
Evil
John Madden. Knights of the Republic.
Couture.
Evil John Madden. Support for Mike. Hot take.
There you go.
Bothering R than DC Casino Royale. The best movies are for Your Eyes Only and Octopussy. He loves. That's Mike's favorite too. Is Octopussy.
But maybe barring or other than.
Okay.
Those. Yeah.
Okay.
I get what you're saying.
Al Rencha. Does this make? Oh, we did that one already. Sorry.
Come on. Now.
Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna give the total in a second here. DJ Case, I don't know who this Roxy is, but support for Mike. Fair
That's
enough.
right, baby.
Totally.
Finally,
Crystal,
Got my
and
belt,
then
my
old man
ego.
Mike. Here's the thing. I'll say this: my dial-up AOL loves to act up. My landline's a real stinker. I don't know. It's tough, Heading to Radio Shack now. It's the best thing I've ever read. Thank you, Crystal.
fucking
And then
Radio Shack.
Ronet at W. Kathleen Kennedy is a great producer, but this is the right decision. One of my favorite franchises. Do right by it, Disney, please. Yes,
There you go. That's a nice, sane response.
mature response. Okay, more
That's an
support.
adult right there.
Yep, go pal. Thank you. And then Jack Lewis, I agree with you 100% about Filoni, Kristian. Like you, I've done a complete 180 on Filoni as well. Animation's perfect place for him, so he can consult on the rest. That's it. And it's like he's got way too much power right now, and he it's just it's just too much going on.
Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely.
He does. Support. Thank you. Extra. Thank you. Go pal. Just Tata. But Roxy, if everything in the movie is real and the actors interact with real practicals, then the story and script feels more believable.
Good
I'm
point.
not saying that you're wrong in any way, and it's an opinion-based thing. I just think that the thing that's struggled the most with movies is the stories, with these big temple movies.
Tommy C. Discovered this channel through the Real Rejects. Got addicted to Sam's reactions. Thank you. Now I never miss a show. That's amazing. Thank you, Tommy. You mentioned not using ad blockers. Just use the Brave browser. Blocks all ads. Love rocks. #Gjex. I got to check that out and see. People don't like when the ads pop up when I'm going on the news stories. Thank you, GoPal. Thank you, Crystal. Thank you, GoPal. Support for Roxy. Thank you, Zach. Sup, y'all? Just realized that 11 years. That in 11 years, Raiders of the Lost Ark will be set 100 years ago. That's crazy, wild. So much, much love. Hope.
Yeah, 11 years.
Yeah.
You're right.
Crazy. That's crazy. That 100 years in 11 years. Gopal got bored of typing slowly. Fair enough, Gopal. You're the best. Gopal's one of the biggest supporters we have as well.
Hell yeah, Gopal rocks.
Thank you.
What is going on here?
A lot is
Crystal's going on, Mike.
Yeah. ZB support for Crystal.
Catch up. That's funny, ZB.
Yep. And then we are going down the line here as we're closing it out here because we gotta close it out. And there's lots from Crystal in here.
Oh my God.
Ryan.
Let the rain fall down and wake my dreams.
Yeah, support for Roxy and Mikey too.
Let it wash away my sanity.
ZB, Daily Mail can suck it. Jason Trenard, Brendan.
I was stoked, honestly. They called me actress Roxy Stryer. I could.
That's good. That was good enough for you, right?
I was
Take
like,
it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, Brandon Scanar, after this first episode, better be a new Batman. He's so good. He's so good. And I got to see him in that episode. I really want him as Batman. Remember, Roxy, I told you when I was watching that show back in the day, that guy's a star. He's a star.
I told you that too.
No, I watched that show before you. I watched 1923 before you. That was the one show I watched before you. Go back and watch the tape. I guarantee it.
Really?
Artem. Yep.
I believe you, but I also know.
Huh. Yep. We need Mike to do Love Is Blind commentary. That would actually be pretty funny. I would be up for that. Okay.
Roxy, this season the people are just boring.
Boring.
They're boring.
Hey, Joey.
All the dudes look alike.
They all look alike.
Identical. It's so crazy.
What's your favorite sitcom spinoff? Mine is Family Matters spinning off Perfect Strangers. Oh man. What's a good one?
Oh shit.
I have to think of a good.
Not the new Frasier, but that's a really good spinoff. Joey's so good.
No, I wanted Joey to be good because I liked her and I liked him.
The best spinoff of all time is probably Breaking Bad to
but that's not comedy. But
it's not a comedy.
Yeah. I have to think about that. Kate Hebert, you have to get Sam to watch From Dusk Till Dawn. I'm sure maybe she's seen it. I don't know. There's certainly she's seen.
I like the movie.
Cupcake Bliss to support.
There you go, baby.
There you go. Cooley High, what up, fam? They can't mess up He-Man, can they? Yes. Or is it too
late for
He-Man? Love to the crew. Mike, 4 months until Superman. Yeah, they're gonna mess up.
Hey, Cooley High. Yeah, I hope they don't. I hope they don't.
I feel like they're gonna mess it up. Okay. Cade is pronounced A-Bear. It's Cajun. So Cade A-Bear. It's Cajun.
Cade A-Bear.
Two left. Sabotage the system. Any information on any animated live action big screen films going into production? My vote is Robotech. Robotech, from what I heard, for sure, and Vampire Hunter and Dragon Ball Z. They've always
Voltron's in production right now.
Yeah, I don't know if that one counts, but yes, that's to me. I've heard Robotech, so that's interesting.
Never got into Robotech as a kid.
Hey, that's it, guys. That's it. We did it.
That's
so
crazy.
I got to jump out. I got to end the show.
Yeah.
But you guys hit 243 today. Insane. 243. That's going to be a tough one for the rest of the crew to hit. So, and I think Brett's coming back tomorrow, so maybe he hits a little bit more. He's
Down it.
Just kidding. 244. All right, Roxy, World Girls, Mike at Mike Kalinowski. Everywhere, rock
always.
Fire. Guys, thank you for being here today. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere podcasts are found. Make sure you hit comments, do all that. Thank you for all the support. I really, really appreciate it. We'll be back here tomorrow, same time. You guys are the best. Thank you to Roxy. Thank you to Mike. We'll see you on the flip side.